Warning, this video contains strong language and profanity, may not be suitable for children and sensitive adults. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Batos, Locos podcast. I am your host, the Red Bat. Today, I am not being accompanied by my co-hosts, the Black Bat and the Grand Bat. Both of them are a little under the weather. So I have another co-host. Sorry for my English. I got over here to my right, Jungle Bat. Jungle Bat, say hi to the people.
What's cracking, bitches?
We're going to have to edit that. Over here to my right, returning guest, demonologist, conspiracy theorist. What else would you call yourself? He's a live action. He follows the police and he watches the ambulances and he gets live footage. He records people in their last days. People that don't know, their families don't even know. Their families are at home and these people are getting an accident and they're like, where's my cousin? You know, I didn't see him come home tonight. And if they watch T-shirts, Facebook posts, they see T-shirts live on location with the last memories of their cousin.
You know,
the one and only T-shirt.
What's good, T-shirts?
Yeah, some people. I actually posted a video of a couple days ago, and someone said it's hard to watch when they know the person. But at the same time, it also brings closure to some people, so you really don't know how someone is going to react. I don't consider myself a stringer, but I am media. I do other stuff. I cover theme parks, cover stuff for Insomniac. I cover plays, anything you could think of. So I'm not a stringer, but I do cover a lot of news. But I just want to say this. I did post something the other day, and someone commented it's hard to watch when they know the person. You know, I have credentials, but you don't need them. If you're on a public street, the eyes can't trespass. You can film whatever you want, but I said to them, I said, you know, sometimes it's helpful to people to bring, it brings closure when they see first responders helping on an incident. You know, it shows that they care, or if there's a suspect, they're taking the person that did something to this person into custody. So a lot of times it brings closure, but not being a stringer, my mentality is a little bit different. I asked this person, you know, would you like me to take the video down, although I'm not required to. So I do have respect when people leave a comment like that.
Thank you, sir. Riddle me this. You're not a stringer, but you are a streaker.
Sometimes.
Okay, there we go. For the record. Today we have a special episode, just like every episode is special. We have a special guest for you. There's been some controversy in the world of XPW. XPW is hot right now in the indie scene, hot on the semi-major scene. I guess you could call it major. They got their own wrestling app now that they got off of Fight app. We have a very special guest. I'm repeating myself. I'm going to introduce him, the one and only Mr. Kris Kloss. Guys. He's got the ball. 4 touchdowns in a single game. Polk High alumni of the Raiders hat. Mr. Kris. Mr. Kloss. Come on, guys. Come on.
What's cracking?
What's cracking? How
are you? We good.
How are you?
We good.
Red Bat, Grand Bat, and Black Bat.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
what's up? We cracking. We good.
Unfortunately, Mr. Kloss, Grand Bat and Black Bat could not make it. Black Bat is sick. Grand Bat is also sick. We were scheduled to film today, and they couldn't make it. But I'm glad that we got Jungle Bat. We got the world famous T-shirts. T-shirts have millions of followers on YouTube. That's another thing.
Why?
That people do not know.
Used to.
Yo,
my old channel got taken down.
Yes, sir.
Building it back up, though.
I should say my bad, because I call everybody bitches. Y'all ain't bitches. Y'all the fam. I'm glad to be here. All right. To the best that I'm
Hey.
not here.
Hey, that's
Hope
really
they
nice.
Feel better.
He said, "You're not bitches. We'll take it a step down. You're actually hoes." Bad as
Oh!
bitches.
Bitches and hoes.
Hoes will do something for you, or bitches will do it, but they talk crap. You know?
Hey, Red Bat, I
yes,
got to
sir.
tell you, first off, now, this is my, believe it or not, I don't know if you remember, this is my second appearance on Los Batos Locos.
Actually, I do remember we had you live on location on the phone. cell
Right, I was
phone.
on FaceTime.
FaceTime.
So, however, this is unprecedentedly, hey, first time ever in the studio. And I love this, man.
Yeah.
Talk about a collection.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, we're going all the way back in time with all the genres, talking about, of course, pro wrestling. Oh, you got some Decepticons up there. He-Man. Why, hey, watch out for Skeletor, pal. And you also got, a little Thundercat.
yeah.
Don't forget
Not Thunder Kitty.
What
Thunder
about
Cat.
Jungle Cat? Not Jungle Bat. Oh.
What about the Jason Voorhees?
I do
Well,
have
hey,
Jason Voorhees.
I see
You
that.
gotta love Jason Voorhees.
My son
right?
has Michael Myers.
What about, there's Michael Myers right
here.
there.
Oh, he's
Yo,
right
what's
here.
good, Mike?
What
What's
about
good, Mike?
what about Freddy
Rubbing for the
Krueger?
luck.
Freddy Krueger, man?
You
he's
have
just
one?
that dude
I don't
who
have a
just
Freddy
wants
Krueger. I
slap.
have to get one.
What about, do you have, and then finish off the Mount Rushmore of modern day 80s, whatever you want to call it, horror movie villains? I would say finishing that off with those three would be Leatherface.
I do have a Leatherface.
Ooh!
I haven't displayed them. I got them somewhere around here,
I love it.
but I do got a Leatherface.
I love it.
You know, I used to see Freddy Krueger
God.
at Bel Air Marketplace when I lived in Bel Air. Robert England lived in Bel Air and shopped at that
Wow.
Oh, really?
market. Yeah.
Hey, we were just talking about an episode of Knight Rider before we went on the air.
Yes, sir.
And Robert England was actually in the episode The Phantom of the Backlots. And they filmed it,
Whoa.
yeah, and he was the Phantom.
He was a Phantom. Wow.
But he played this regular dorky office guy in the show, so he can't be him.
Yeah, that can't be him.
Yeah. But Michael Knight cracked the case, and along with Kit.
Michael Knight and Kit.
Speaking of theme parks, I'm very disappointed. One place been abandoned for a long time. I didn't get a chance to urbex it. Very hot spot for urban explorers. Talking about Six Flags New Orleans.
Oh.
Don't know how much longer it's going to be abandoned. They just
abandoned it?
no, it's been abandoned since Hurricane Katrina.
Wow.
But they just broke news that there's a new development going in there.
What's going on?
Not sure. Didn't read
So
the
you wanna-
article, but
So you're wanting to get back there while it's still abandoned.
So when you mean
yeah, I don't know if it's going to
development,
happen. But
I might be out there in May. Let me know if you want to go.
You know what happened was because they couldn't fix the southern border, Katrina destroyed Six Flags.
yeah.
hurricanes
I don't trust that girl.
destroy
She's my cousin.
everything, yo.
Well, you know, Galveston, Texas, is a very haunted place because of a deadly hurricane that happened there a long time ago.
Wow. Have you been out there for any of those?
No, I've been to San Antonio. Wasn't able to make it to the Mango Hotel. I did basic training there at Lackland Air Force Base, and then I went on a trip and I was in Houston for about a day.
Whoa.
We drove across the country and into Canada.
Are you a military vet?
JSOC Special Operation Joint Keystone Command.
Wow. Are you the men who stare at goats?
No.
Well, thank you for your service, sir. I didn't know you were a military vet. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guest, man. Come on.
Mr. Chris Kloss, we got you here.
Interception. Yes.
There's some controversy out there with XPW. You have not been to the last show in Pomona, California. A lot of the fans expected you to be there. I even got DMs from some of the fans saying, hey, is Chris Kloss going to be there? And I was like, yeah, as far as I know, he should be there. He is part of XPW. He is an XPW original. What went on? What's going on with you and XPW? Are you still in XPW, or is there a rift here?
I mean, this is shoot.
Shoot.
Yeah. Well, as far as it stands right now, as they say, I'm a free agent.
Okay. All
I'm
right,
a free
there you
agent.
go.
So unfortunately, there was a lack of communication.
Yes, sir.
There is a lack of trust.
Right.
I hate to say it. But the communication part is what I didn't like. And so, I reached out, and I wasn't really hearing back. I wanted to talk about a few things, never got that. So I decided the last show, which actually, incidentally, fell on my birthday, February 18th, at Pomona. But anyway, I just decided not to. I thought it was in my best interest, and in everyone else's, I guess, their best interest.
Yes, sir.
That I shouldn't be there. I didn't want to be there at that time, and I have no hard feelings for anybody working in that company. I had a great time. It is a bummer.
Yeah.
But I'm always, look, man. I'm still here. I'm willing to. If those that need and want to talk to me, those that want to know where I am, they know how to get a hold of me, and I'm not ignoring anybody. So, never say never. And if there's one thing in wrestling we've always learned, is that never say never. So, but right now, no, I'm on to other things, and I will tell you this: can't really get into it right now, but I will say you never know where else I may pop up in the near future.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear that you haven't given up on wrestling. And I know that you're still working in the wrestling scene, that you help out with Putarasu, MPW, and occasionally for XWW. So, and you're working in the auction, so you're getting your reps in there. You're ready. It's not like you're rusty at this point. You are actually very sharp.
You're very characteristic.
Is the door still open for a return of XPW? Let's say you and whoever you're having this problem with right now. Is the door open to fix things?
I mean,
I think you're repeating yourself again.
Yeah.
You gotta relax.
This show is for both factual and entertainment purposes.
And I think, to be, I gotta agree with you, Chris, about a couple of things, because as great as you are, as all the history that you've done, how long you've done it, the experience, any company, any indie company,
not just indie. I think a big company would like somebody like
he
yourself.
would make, and this is no disrespect to Justin Roberts, but I wouldn't mind seeing this dude as AEW Dynamite announcer.
Oh, that would be great. I would love to see that too.
And I actually heard from my roommate back at the Jungle, Moonlight Leo. He told me how kind you are, how warm your heart is.
Soft.
Fortunately, he had to work.
This show's for
tonight,
both
so
factual and
he couldn't
entertainment
be here,
purposes.
But, hey man, I agree with you. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know about that Raiders hat though.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that.
I'm
later.
a Cowboys fan, y'all, but that's another story.
Oh my God. Another question, Mr. Kloss, can you give us a verbal? Because a lot of people don't know all the other things that you've done in your career. Can you give us a little verbal? What's that called? Resume of your background, of the things you've done.
I am a college graduate from CSUN, Bachelor's of Arts degree in Communication Studies.
Wow, so
one of the top colleges in the country.
Thank you.
Not only can
right
you talk
here
the
in
talk,
the valley,
you walk the
Northridge.
walk. You have the degree.
Walk it like that talk. Oh wait,
Yeah.
no, not that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I was thinking at the walk where you sizzle the food, the Chinese food. But
You making me hungry.
but I will say this. I did the college thing. Did improv at the Groundlings.
Wow.
Did a bunch of plays. Did a lot of TV commercials. And I lived in New York, where I was the lead in an off-Broadway show on 42nd Street.
Wow.
So I had a lot of experience, and then I've done basketball. So aside from pro wrestling, I've also done play-by-play announcing for mixed martial arts, as well as pro basketball on a D-League level.
Mr. Kloss, if you can plug in again your auction for March 24th.
Did we talk about CSUN?
CSUN? No.
You did talk about CSUN. You talked
do we
about
have it
how
or
you
no?
finished college like a man, how you got your degree, you got it at
all the college thing, yeah. You're plugging in your auction on March 24th, Friday,
where we're at right now.
and it cut off before that.
Okay, so as
Sorry for technical difficulties.
Yeah, no problem. So what we were talking about was the Uplanders charitable organization presenting boots and Bling, Friday, March 24, 2023. I will be the auctioneer that evening. There's going to be a silent auction. There's going to be a lot of live auction items. All proceeds go to help inner city youth. And a few years ago, we had a very successful auction at the Upland YMCA in Upland, California. And we actually raised money, and we ended up building a brand new indoor swimming pool facility for the youth.
There we go.
And so this is going to be at the Boots and Blings fundraiser, Friday, March 24th. Starts at 6 p.m., ends at 10 p.m. There's going to be some great food. It's going to be country western themed. So come on to the hoedown.
Get your denim shirts. Get your cowboy hats.
That's
get your blue jeans.
And some boots. Because this is Boots and Bling.
If you're a real XPW fan of the hardcore original Mr. Kris Kloss, go to Upland, California, March 24th to support.
Or if you're
Boots
not
and
actually, it's going to be
doing anything and you feel like donating for a good cause, hey, come see my boy Kris.
Actually, it's for the Uplanders, but it's actually at 555 West Foothill Boulevard, Claremont, California. And this is going to be at the Doubletree by Hilton.
I said Claremont.
Now we
near
would
the
like
Jay's
if you don't want to donate. If you don't want to purchase any of the auction items, that is fine. We, at the very minimum, ask you to put down $100 per plate, and you're going to get everything. You're going to get the fixings. You're going to get all that, and all the money for that plate goes straight to the facility that we're going to be building.
Amen. So if you guys want to get the inside scoop of Mr. Kris Kloss and talk to him personally one last time. I mean, not necessarily one last time, but right now while it's hot, go to Upland, California. Mr. Kloss, do you have any personal stories of XPW? Because you interviewed everybody on Extreme Memories on the Wrestling Chatter.
Yep.
But nobody's ever really interviewed you. And you've asked them their stories of XPW, personal stories. Do you have any personal stories that nobody knew? Like things that I think somebody would find special, I guess.
I mean, kids watching this?
No kids watching.
No kids? Okay, because we had an office in Van Nuys in North Hollywood. It was also a porn office.
Yes, sir. Tell us the dirt. We want dirt.
We want
a little bit of dirt.
A little bit?
Yeah, from way back when, right? 1998,
different
1999, different times.
Different times. So certain things were acceptable during those days before people started protesting against them.
Protesting.
So anyway,
yes, sir.
Masturbation is a sin.
Who is this guy?
Come on now.
If I haven't had a nickel every time somebody said that, but
Did people say that?
is it true?
It is true.
How?
If you spill your seed other than for
Oh my gosh!
procreation, you must consume it.
Oh my God!
I didn't hear that part. I never read that.
Hold on. Isn't it a normal, natural way for a man to relieve his stress by that word he just said, masturbating?
Dude, what the hell?
Yeah, but
That's what I'm saying. What the hell?
You know what?
if you do, you have to recycle.
What the hell does that mean, dude?
That's what Aleister Crowley taught.
So he's the purveyor of all knowledge that we should.
If you don't
live our lives by,
you'll start having wet dreams.
And
it goes
is that
to
a
waste.
sin if you have a wet dream?
You wake up and it's gone to waste.
and masturbation, you burn calories.
And it clears the head.
Yeah, it's good. It's
It
actually
takes your
Clears
mind
your
off of
mind, yeah.
stress, anger.
It clears both heads.
Yeah.
But I will say this: crazy, wild times, XPW. I mean, look, back in the day, we're talking everything. The first show was in July 1999, right? And we were having meetings from 1998 on, because we would meet 1 year out.
Wow.
Before. So, man, at the time, I'm a child of the 80s, right?
Yes, sir.
And all of us in XPW.
Go for it.
What happened?
I thought I heard something.
Oh, okay.
Like paranormal?
Yeah.
It is.
What was it?
That voice, it was like a whisper, right? I heard it.
No. It sounded like somebody locking their car door.
It could be my mom. Oh no, my mom's here already.
Mother Bat.
It could be a mother bat, or it could be a neighbor.
I heard a voice.
Okay, so what happened? You're
Well,
child
I
of the
was
80s?
talking, you know, so.
Child of the 80s?
Yeah, child of the 80s. All of us were in XPW. So,
Right.
you know, if you think this started in the mid to late 90s.
Yes, sir.
And so we were all in our 20s, 30s. So all us guys that started in that company, we grew up, you know, XPW was like, okay, it's another alternative to ECW or
Right.
Japanese hardcore
Yeah.
wrestling, which was popular at that time. But if you really look at the talent roster
Yes, sir.
in XPW, we weren't like these, we're all about ECW.
Right.
We all grew up in the 80s watching,
Watching wrestling.
if you want to call it cartoony WWF wrestling of the
Right,
80s,
yeah.
right? So every performer, all of us in XPW that was extreme, hardcore, blood and guts, all us guys were old school WWF guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's a misnomer, I think, that for whatever reason, people think of all the talent that was in XPW, think that we were, these guys are anti-WWF. No, that's what we all grew up watching. So,
I love them.
yeah. So, I mean, and then in the 90s, so roll around the late 90s, at that time, I'm in my early 20s, and I'm thinking like, gosh, this is the new stuff. Oh, I remember the old stuff. Now I'm looking back at, oh my gosh, the late 90s, that was a great time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because
sir.
in the late 90s, I was looking back, it's nothing like the golden era of the 80s.
Okay.
This is all right now, but the 80s. Now, today,
Yeah.
look, personally, wrestling today, and not all wrestling, but a lot of wrestling doesn't even resemble what it was then. It's almost
Right.
a different entity now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. I digress though, but looking back now at the late '90s of when we started up, I look back at that very fondly now because at the time we were so wise to the business. Those of us that got in the business at that time,
Right.
So we're in the back. We understand how this whole thing works. Pre-internet, right? The infancy of the internet.
Kayfabe still-
Right, kayfabe. So as much as we knew at that time, late 90s, that, you know what, it's exposed now compared to the 80s, my God, we didn't really realize how much kayfabe was actually still alive then, looking back at it now from 2023.
Right.
For 2023, you look back at 1998, it was completely kayfabed.
Kayfabe, yeah.
Right. So I think we took that for granted. I personally did not like, and there were some like Supreme, for example,
Right.
was almost like kind of him and Pogo. We're kind of like our the Undertaker of the dressing room.
Yes,
like,
sir.
all right, guys, you're not
The
gonna
ring,
fuck her.
yeah, the ring, not ring general, but the court, the judge, jury in the back.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, you know, like you like Supreme's right
They
there.
would hold court.
Yeah, unofficially, right? So that was one of the things where it's like, all right, if someone comes into the company and they start marking out for themselves,
Yeah.
oh, look at what, hey, I'm going to tell these fans that I'm back here, and da 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 da.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're going to be weeded out very quickly, right?
Right.
And then also, if they start saying too much stuff to the fans,
Yeah.
hey, you know what we really do back here? Let me tell you. So
Yeah,
we're cool.
right.
Those guys were weeded out. Now, unfortunately, today that's gone
That's gone, yeah.
because everyone can talk now. So no.
And the wrestlers hang out with the fans.
And they
now.
hang out with the fans. So there is no reason for them to. So that to me was maybe the most special thing about being a part of wrestling, especially at that time, was that, my God, man, I'm back here.
Right.
I don't want to tell anybody what's going on.
Yeah.
Some people want to show off and, hey, you know what? I know what's going on. Let me tell you. I was like excited to not tell them.
Right.
To kayfabe them.
To be
man.
part of that.
Yeah.
Nothing can replicate that first XPW
right.
show.
Wow.
I mean, I thought everything was just. First of all, that building.
How did you hear about it? Because
Oh my
you were a
gosh!
fan,
This is an XPW personality from day
XPW
one.
I saw,
personality day one. So you were at the first show.
Yeah, I saw it on a.
How do I still know you to this day in 2023?
Let me get into one thing. So I thought
Yeah.
they had the XPW was doing the whole thing with the video screen back then, and I just thought, you know, they actually the first show they had a magazine, an XPW magazine with.
I have to tell the Rothy story.
All right.
You know how they did it at WWF shows,
Right.
they would put the card, and that was my favorite part, seeing the card.
Yeah, that
Even
was,
though I know the whole card by heart, I would read it over and over and over.
Yeah,
right.
And so XPW had that, and I had no fucking idea who these people were, and it said like death match or whatever it said. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I thought everything was so real, and then I saw I think it was the main event or one of the last matches. The West Siders were gonna light Dynamite D
Right. Amen.
on fire.
Rest in peace.
They came out with the
gasoline.
They came out with the gasoline container, and they're pouring on him. I'm like, holy shit!
And he was cut white blood all
and
over.
they're like,
Dude.
I'm like, holy shit! They're gonna set this fucking guy on fire. And then the cops came out.
Wow.
Like
Real cops.
They were dressed like cops, and I noticed, because I noticed uniforms and stuff.
Tennis
They're wearing
shoes.
tennis shoes.
One guy was.
I'm all like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of blew it, but it was still just had this
You didn't know
underground vibe.
for sure.
What was the commercials? It was on cable radio network, or was it like
That was Dynamite D's Wrestle Talk long before XPW.
Wow.
No, this was I think on KDOC or something.
Well, we were on
KJLA. But no, I saw a commercial
13,
somewhere.
No. It was
I saw a commercial
cable.
before the very first show that they had a commercial for it.
We were filming the commercials at the warehouse, and
Wow.
we would, and the boys were there. Trash Johnny Webb, Homeless Jimmy, Chaos Supreme.
Shout out to all those
Phenomenal.
guys.
And I didn't know what ECW
Phenomenal.
even was at that time.
Phenomenal Phil.
Phenomenal Phil. We're all just hanging out at the warehouse, and we're like, all right, we're just in a warehouse. We got to film something though. So we put the tables out. They were power bombing each other into the table. Okay, power bomb, and then it's like, what are we gonna do? And then they made this Tron looking grainy footage of the real stuff, so you didn't see the warehouse.
Yeah.
You just saw this distorted neon dudes going to the table. Extreme Pro Wrestling comes. Now, granted, nobody was doing cable commercials for wrestling.
Wow.
The indie scene was nothing back
Nothing,
then.
right.
It was, you had slammers.
Right.
You had maybe a few shows here and there. And then you had a show that okay, there's this XPW coming out. Wait a minute, they have money for a TV commercial?
Yeah.
They already sold out Reseda Country Club,
Yeah.
And so it was big time word of mouth. WWF, WCW, right?
Right.
And then you had indies.
Yes.
So we were kind of somewhere in the middle with not maybe right at first with ECW,
Right.
but then you get into Heatwave and all that, and us taking, Sandman comes in, Terry Funk, then we're kind of in that middle category.
Yeah.
You don't really have a middle category today.
Right.
You have WWE and AEW.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And then you got the indie circuit. There's that in between ECW kind of
Right.
a section doesn't exist anymore.
You guys
because because look, this is what I'll tell you. We you know why we're in that middle section? Because we had the luxury of being on television once a week. Mm-hmm. Television is what put us over, for real. We were over in those first shows before TV, but once we got to TV, now whether you hated us or liked us, it's like, okay, you can't not recognize us now.
Now you're
Right.
up there in the. I remember as a fan of wrestling in the '90s, like Mr. T-shirts here, I would see XPW sometimes late at night on Channel 9.
Yeah.
And it would be too late for me sometimes to watch it, and I watched it sporadically, just a little bit, and I was like, wow, this is a big deal. And like you said, they would take talent from XPW. It became the next big thing, and it was a real deal.
Especially for LA.
For LA,
because
yes.
LA felt like, and I remember not only young fans, right? Younger, about my age, but I remember at the time, again, I'm in my 20s, early mid-20s, and I remember when we especially went to the sports arena, the Grand Olympic Auditorium.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles.
In LA, and there were like some old school fans that would go to these shows, right? And I remember I used to see these guys at the WWF house shows at the sports arena. And so anyway, I seen them, and I remember a few of them was like, oh, this is good. You know why? Because they were older than me. So I was like, they were like Rivera's age. Yeah. Rivera's like 12 years older than me. So anyway, they would be like, "This is great." You know why? Because I feel like this is like when the territories are back again.
Yeah.
Territories weren't really officially back, but being that XPW was the company for LA, to them, those guys that were there in the early 80s going to the Olympic when it was the Hollywood wrestling territory,
Yes.
this is the first time they felt like, whoa, we have our own thing.
Yes.
And it's not just some indie show.
Right.
It's a televised product. So a lot of these, I remember being educated by a lot of that. I remember hearing about the territories, but when I started talking to the fans, like, okay, so Grand Olympic and all that, I got to thank Larry Rivera too.
Yeah.
Because he shared a lot of stuff with me that I only heard of. And with tape trading and all
Right.
that we both had a wrestling mind.
Side
he was a little
story
older.
of Larry Rivera. In the 90s, my buddy showed me a CD of a group called Brujeria.
Yeah.
And I liked some of their music. I had the CD of Brujeria. And later on, when I wrestled in UEW,
Yeah.
2014, one of the other wrestlers, the Insaniac, told me, dude, there's a fucking singer for Brujeria.
Excuse
You know,
me,
Larry
man.
Rivera.
Larry Rivera was a singer for Brujeria.
He's a singer.
That's
for
a Spanish
Brujeria.
death metal band.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Dude,
Spanish
in the
death
mask, that was Rivera.
And we were like, oh, I was like, I'm gonna go say hi. He goes, no, don't fucking mark out.
Yeah, don't mark it out.
So I never said. I mean,
He would have been fine if one.
I never went and said hi, and I felt bad.
No,
I was like,
he would have
but-
been okay one-on-one.
Right.
Now, I don't know if you remember, but yeah, you know Brujeria, you know Larry Rivera. This is the first time you knew that was. Wow, dude. Okay, so
I had a CD.
And there's a lot, like I used to wear on XPW TV, I would do the suit and tie thing, right? And Rivera's whole gimmick, the leather jacket, the t-shirt, right? And but every few episodes he'd have a Brujeria shirt on.
Oh,
so it was
wow.
like an inside
thing.
Yeah.
Mr. T-shirt, at that time, who stood out to you the most as a fan watching XPW? You're like, who was like your top guy there when you were there?
Once you discovered, because you said,
XPW.
like a lot of fans, when you came into that first show, maybe with the exception, probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but Big Dick Dudley, the Pitbulls, so guys that were like already in ECW, maybe some guys on the SoCal indie scene that made their mark in your eyes, I don't know, but now once you got to know that roster, who did you like?
Well, the first show, I would say, and I'm the kind of person that sometimes when I have an answer, I don't understand it. I have...
In 25 years, he still doesn't understand.
I have empathic and psychic abilities, so a lot of stuff comes from my subconscious, and I don't understand why.
Right.
But the first two names that came to my mind were Big Dick Dudley and, believe it or not, Christian Blood.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
dude. Yeah. I knew you were going to say, I knew you were going to, I've had a feeling it was going to be this Christian Blood versus Supreme match. That was the match.
It was Big Dick Dudley and Christian Blood.
No, well, I mean, but the match was Christian versus Supreme.
Yeah.
I don't forget who did Big Dick winning. I guess Damian Steele, maybe.
Yeah, and then I would have to say the name
Rest in
that
peace,
pops
by the
up
way.
to my head
Amen.
Christian Blood,
Is,
rest in peace.
Wow. Rest in peace.
is
Christian Blood.
I was
And
there
Big
when he
Dick
got
Dudley.
fired.
Who?
Blood.
Oh wow.
He was working, I think, up in the Bay Area or
Byron.
Portland or something.
Yeah.
Name that came to my head was Webb, and I think he had Jessica Darling.
Missy Hyatt.
Oh, it was Missy
In
Hyatt.
the
at
beginning,
first?
it was Missy Hyatt.
Wow, you guys had.
He had like
Missy
the-
Hyatt,
he came out like-
WCW, Mrs. X.
The fried chicken thing.
WCW.
Fried chicken and ass kicking or something.
Right. Well, and remember Roddy Piper had when he came into WCW, he had the back of the shirt said "Reality Check,"
Yeah.
and then the back of White Trash Johnny Webb was "Welfare Check."
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
No, Webb had a good thing going. I liked his. yeah.
As a child, I had a crush on Missy Hyatt.
On
for a
Webb?
little bit. No,
Oh, God.
Webb.
Do you remember the card?
Who didn't have a crush on Missy?
Do you remember
Hyatt,
the
man?
whole card from that first show?
No, I can't. Not off the top of my head. I don't. But
I'd
I do.
love to.
Yeah, I have it on. I have boxes and boxes of VHS DVDs stored away. So I got a ton.
I'd love to know what the
obviously-
card
Who
was.
was your favorite wrestler? In
You
that
know what?
time?
When at that time, show number one, I'm gonna actually agree with T-shirts here, and I really thought Christian Blood, dude, at the time,
Christian Blood, yeah.
he was like our version of Chris Benoit at the time,
Yeah.
Dynamite Kid style wrestler.
Right.
He had that kind of Canadian technical thing going on, and he could do the hardcore stuff. He could dive from the balcony, which he did. or Supreme did on the table. Remember that? And from the top of the Reseda Country Club, and that was like a rare thing at that time, right? He stood out. I mean, we were all excited at the time. You know, Big Dick Dudley, the Pitbulls came in, and that was a big deal at the time.
Pitbulls is a big deal.
Yeah, because they were like
Dudley.
ECW was, and John Cronus. Rest in peace again, dude. There's so many we could say.
He had the 450 splash.
Heck yeah, dude.
I love John Cronus. And Perry Saturn.
Can I tell you a quick John Cronus story?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay,
please.
so we're going to the Ventura Theater, right? And I was living in Woodland Hills at the time, and Cronus was staying at some like a motel off Topanga in Ventura, Woodland Hills, and so Klein Rock tells me, hey, we need you to take the stuff and carpool and take Cronus. You live you're living near where he stays. So I don't really know him yet,
yes.
right? And he's just, I mean, 350 at least dude.
At this time.
I'm 6'3". This guy's at least 6'5", 6'6", right?
Wow.
It's like, it's
right.
okay. The
Talk about that, fellas. Folks, so Mr. Kris Kloss talking about John Cronus.
Okay, really quick.
Give him a ride. He's 6'6", 350 pounds.
So I barely got to know this guy. I don't really know him yet, right?
Right.
This guy... So I'm a little, you know, I'm Mr. Announcer, dude. I'm not a wrestler,
right?
And this guy, I have no idea how this guy is going to be, whatever. But Ventura's a little drive. It's about an hour 10, right, from the valley. So anyway, I get him in the car.
Ventura County,
Ventura, California.
Well, not Ventura Boulevard, Ventura County.
Ventura, the city.
The city,
yeah,
yes.
So,
Seaside Sports Park.
So we're at least an hour away.
That's a drive.
Near Point Magoo.
But a beautiful drive on the 101.
Right.
But anyway, so long story short, we're starting to talk. He seems pretty cool and very like kid-like, very childlike, like playful, good, you know. Playful. And then at one point, he goes, we're driving down to Camarillo, where the hill comes down to Camarillo, and he goes, a guy from the East Coast, he's barely been out here much, and he goes, I can't believe it, Kloss, and he puts the window down. He goes, there's fucking cactuses out here. I can't believe the fucking cactuses. Look at that. It's a fucking cactus. It's like I'm watching a fucking Roadrunner fucking coyote fucking cartoon here, but it's in real fucking life. I can't believe it. Look at that. Look at that. And he's hanging out the window.
Guys, check out Joe Pesci over here.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so anyway, he's did this 350-pound guy, he's hanging out my window telling all the other cars, look at the cactuses out here.
Yeah.
All right, so then he comes back in the car, he goes, wow, that was something. I got to have a fucking smoke. I'm like, oh, wait, I just got a used car Explorer, but I'm like, no, you can't smoke in here. I was smoking off and on at the time, but I would never smoke in my car.
Right.
He goes, no, I need one. I'm like, no, dude, we'll pull over or something. And dude, he goes down on the floor, passenger seat in front. He gets down on his knees. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He gets on his knees, and he goes, please.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, oh, shut up, man. And I'm and finally, I'm like, all right, just hang it out the window. He goes, oh, you're the best, Kris. You're the best.
Oh my god.
So that was the moment where I'm like, this guy's fucking cool, dude.
Wow.
Like that's how he was, man.
What a
and
cool guy.
And he was just always playful with everybody and always wanted to have fun. Never a dick, dude.
Right.
And this is, again, dude, one of the biggest guys in the dressing room.
Yeah.
And very respected too. Not only physically, but he was ECW. He could have demanded physically, you know.
Very talented.
Yeah, very talented. And his lineage, he could have demanded more respect, and I'm better than you, and just sheer size, walking around like, hey, don't fuck with me, I'll fuck you up. Never, nothing like that. Rest in peace, John Cronus.
Rest in peace, John Cronus. I was a big fan of that 450 splash.
Yeah, and for his size.
He would do the frog splashes. Yeah, the way he would fly in the air. Things like that.
Can I tell the story about when I first met this guy?
Yes, sir. Yes, please tell the story.
So this was July 31st, 1999, show number 1, Reseda. Right?
Let me see. It gives you a little leeway.
Yeah, a little leverage.
There you go.
So anyway, so I had this friend, Scott Rothy we called him. And anyway, I had tickets.
Yes, sir.
I had tickets. I think I had 6 tickets, like comps for my family. So my mother, my grandfather came to the show. and Rothy, my friend Scott, and like I think another friend. Anyway, we had 2 tickets left over. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the first days of cell phones, I think.
Right.
And so
I remember those.
Yeah, 90s. And so I'm like, I talked to him. I'm like, he's like, dude, so you got tickets. Everyone's got one. There's 2 extra tickets. What do you want me to do? I'm like, dude, you know what? Just go sell them. Yeah. Like you don't need them back. I'm like, they just sell them. Just make whatever you do. Just keep the money, whatever. So then he goes, okay, you sure? And then he comes like after intermission or after the show, he goes, oh my gosh, dude, I met the fucking craziest guy I've ever fucking met in my life, dude. Yeah. I'm like, what happened? What happened? He goes, dude, this guy is fucking nuts, dude. I sell him the tickets. And he goes, Are you 5-0? Are you 5-0? and he's like, dude, he kept fucking asking me if I'm 5-0. I'm like, dude, no, I'm just dude, I'm Reseda Country Club. I'm not fucking 5-0. Right. And he goes, and I'm like, and dude, he's like sweating fucking bullets and everything. And I'm like, dude, I'm not. So I convinced him. I gave him the tickets. He gave him the money. So, dude, done deal, right? Right. Like 5 minutes later, the guy comes up to me from behind, taps my shoulder, goes, I know you're 5-0. Just put the cuffs on me. I know what's gonna happen. And he's like sweating bullets. And then Rothy's like, dude, can you just get the fuck away, dude? Like, I know, I'm not 5-0. Just get the fuck away, dude. Yeah. Now you're gonna get fucking 5-0 over here. Like, just shut the fuck up. Yeah, this is what they all say. This is the interrogation process. I know your processes, and you're drunk. And then he's sweating bullets and all this, and then so about a month later, we're getting ready for the second show. We're all at the Van Nuys office getting everything together. T-shirts was there, and Rothy comes with me to that show or to the office, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, that's the fucking lunatic! That's the lunatic!" Now I'm like, T-shirts, like, holy shit, you're not really a cop! Holy shit! Yeah, I knew it the whole time. So that was our first introduction. Why is his name T-shirts?
Why?
Because at the time we were filming a vignette because Jasmine St. Clair was managing Big Dick Dudley, but she was about to turn heel because he was a babyface, and then so there's a skit where Big Dick Dudley was looking for Jasmine because she's doing something shady. Right. Going to Jake Lawless's dressing room. Where's Jasmine? I don't know. Goes in another dressing room. Where is Jasmine? I don't know. And then this guy's folding XPW merchandise, and then folding the T-shirts, and then Big Dick comes like, have you seen Jasmine? And I shit you not, his voice sounded like Mickey Mouse. No, haven't seen her. And then he goes, what's your function here? And he goes, T-shirts. And so Big Dick Dudley takes T-shirts by the neck, screw the table.
Oh, T-shirts. What the hell?
And and so ever since then, everyone just kind of was there that night.
Yeah.
Rob, Kevin, all the wrestlers. And we watched it over. So whenever he came around, he was just like, he was T-shirts. We didn't even know his name for years, dude.
Really?
And so a lot of the guys, like, to this day, they don't even know his name is what, Eric?
Wow.
So
they look him up on Facebook. Where's T-shirts?
Yeah.
T-shirt. Oh, what's his name?
So
I just knew him as T-shirts. Yeah. Wow, what a story. That's amazing.
Yeah, so but
call sign PD20 is circling over Pomona.
That's what you talk about.
There's a lot of cholos in Pomona. I got cousins that are ex-cholos in Pomona. I don't know if they're still current, but there were cholos in Pomona, and that's a high.
So these are Mexican bats?
Yes.
Okay.
They're high cholo volume.
I'm not kidding you. Look at the glass T-shirts.
Oh my God, Mickey Mouse.
Wake up. All right. Well, hey, anything you want to add? Jungle Bite.
Actually, yeah. You're talking about XPW. Can I share a little story with you?
Please.
Although he's not here, but last spring, there was an XPW show that featured the likes of Juventud Guerrero, Sage Sin, Brian Cage.
The Pomona Derby Room.
Yes, sir. Moonlight Leo was there, and he had the pleasure of being a crew member.
Oh,
yeah,
and
nice.
He was so blessed and so thankful to actually be part of one of the best wrestling organizations since 1999.
There you go.
He had a good time. He got to do security. There was actually an incident where 3 guys tried to mess with the staff, one of the wrestlers' girlfriends, and Moonlight Leo stepped up and said, "Hey, either pay or get the fuck out." Part of my language.
Oh, that's
I'm
all right.
sorry.
It's a family show, but I'll allow it tonight.
But
Yeah, no censorship here.
But being a part of XPW was
No
really a good
canceling, no
experience,
censorship.
and myself and him and everybody, we hope to be part of it again.
Well, that's
So,
great.
cheers to
And
that.
you know what?
Cheers.
Like I was saying in the beginning of the interview to you, Red Bat is you know, life at the end of the day, nothing's perfect, and not everybody is going to agree. And you know, as far as I go, I'm not. We paid our dues back in the day.
Amen.
And I think at this time of my stage of my life, I'd like to make sure that when I do whatever job it is, maybe whether auction, wrestling, whatever, that there's got to be mutual respect from myself too,
Right.
And toward the other person. Like I said, mutual respect. But anyway, you know, so and manners. So
That's an excuse.
so anyway, you know, look, never say never. I got no hard feelings, but at the same time, I gotta be true to myself.
Amen.
I gotta respect myself, and you know, like you asked me earlier, is the door open? As far as I'm concerned, look, man, you know where to find me. I'm willing to talk, but at the same time, maybe next time I'm on this show, I can be more transparent as far as what I'm doing right now, as far as wrestling goes, because
Right.
there's a few things that I can't talk about yet, but just you never know where you're going to see me next.
Amen.
Yeah.
I have a few more questions.
Yeah.
Can you give us one example, one flaw of Mr. And this might be controversial. A flaw of Mr. Rob Black. One flaw.
Just one.
No, just one. Just one.
Well, Rob. Look, man. Even now, whatever.
I got other questions, but I want a flaw.
Okay, one flaw from Rob.
Yes. That people don't know.
I think he's a pretty open book.
Yeah.
I mean, people kind of know how he is very rough around the edges, and he doesn't hide it.
Right.
I don't know what I could say that's going to be groundbreaking here, but well, I mean, personally, I'll just say maybe keep the he. Personally, I think maybe he could keep the lines of communication open a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then a follow-up question to that. What is one positive of Mr. Rob Black? That people, because he gets a lot of hate, he gets a lot of love.
Yeah.
What's a positive of Mr. Rob Black?
Positive from Rob is that what he thinks and feels might be a good idea, he really does not care if he offends anybody. He's not there to impress anybody else. And if he wants to execute, deliver, and roll out some gimmicks, some ideas, some angles, a presentation that comes from his mind, he's just going to do it. He's not gonna sit there and go, I wonder if this is going to offend anybody. And I will say, like right now, I like the fact that XPW has come back in this climate, in this day and age where I honestly think, as much as there's, like you said, you just mentioned cancel culture just a second ago. Yeah. Okay. Well, even though that exists now and that's the norm, because it's the norm, there is going to be like this archaic hunger naturally that we're going to want the opposite of that.
There's going to be some pushback.
Yeah, there will be.
Yeah.
And whether it's right or wrong, people are going to want that. Look what happened in the late 90s.
Right.
Okay, in the early mid 90s, there was this kind of wave of political correctness. That's when that coined that phrase. In the early mid 90s was politically correct, right? And then Bill Maher had that show, Politically Incorrect, right?
Right.
Because that was what it was. Well, what happened in the late 90s? You got the Jerry Springers, the Howard Sterns, the Attitude Era. There was always a rebellion against when a group of people are told, whether it's for the right reason or the wrong, that you have to act this way. it's unnatural. People are going to want to break out of that no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So maybe that right now, XPW may be onto something with that in this day and age.
I agree. I think they're doing their own thing. I think they're not listening to what people say on the internet or on Facebook or Instagram. I think they're trailblazing.
Yeah.
In a
and they
time.
always were. We always were.
Yes.
We always were from back in the day, too. Even at that time, in the late 90s, early 2000s, when it was acceptable to kind of be rough around the edges, even at that time were like, whoa, what are these guys doing? You know?
Yeah.
So
you
I'm kind of proud to be a part of that.
You were part of that, rough around the edges, and at the end it was accepted and it was loved. Mm-hmm. You guys have your own cult following.
And I'm actually proud to be if you want to say something positive about Rob, I'm proud to be a part of that back then, especially at the time, maybe looking at the time, it was like, oh, should we be saying this? Oh, I can't believe I'm a part of this. Right. Now I look back at it like, God, look at that. We had the balls to do what we weren't supposed to do.
Yes.
I like that.
That is true about Rob. He has the balls to do what he wants to do, and he don't give a shit about what people think.
Right.
And I think minority groups that are hating on him, he don't give a fuck.
No, he doesn't.
And
right or wrong,
commend them for that. Yeah. Yes.
And that's something that, like, look, if you look back at people now, like, let's say today, people that just do what's expected of them and what society wants them to do, 20 years from now, you look back and they're not going to be anything special. Because, you just did what the prevailing winds blew you to do, what society accepted at that time. Yeah. But when you look back at anybody that did something they weren't supposed to do, those are always the people we look back at, oh, that was interesting.
Yeah,
you know?
Right. And follow-up question to that, what is your opinion on one of your best friends, Danny Manchichi Ramirez? He is part of the Mega Maga. He is a Mexican who's part of the Mega Maga, probably the hottest thing in XPW right now.
Okay.
What is your opinion on the Mega Maga?
I was on Facebook the other day, and I was scrolling through Facebook, and there was a mainstream wrestling site that puts out wrestling history. All right, random posting of, hey, let's talk about WrestleMania 7, the event that was supposed to be at the LA Coliseum, but they moved it to the close by LA Sports Arena because of security, some say attendance, whatever. And it was a picture of Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter.
Right.
And it said on the thing, this was not a local posting. This was a mainstream post, right? It's like a week ago I saw this. And it said on there, yes, this angle would not be done today. It was Hulk Hogan All-American versus Iraqi sympathizers. So they exploited the war that was going on in the world today. Then it said on the next paragraph, the only thing close to this in professional wrestling today would be XPW's MAGA angle.
Wow.
Yeah, so I read that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
And this was, and I'm like thinking about it, like, how did that get on there? And then I stopped to think about it, because I got to take myself outside the bubble.
Right.
And I'm like, I guess they're right.
Right.
I guess there is nothing in wrestling.
There is nothing.
That's doing what they're not supposed to do.
There's nothing in wrestling that's edgy. I think a lot of wrestlers, there's a flaw with a lot of wrestlers. I think they think they're edgy by having tattoos, by taking the steroids, being buff, and the tattoos and the flips, and none of that's really edgy. That's just the common now. That's very common. And myself, too, I'm part of the common group. I don't have tattoos, but I try to put a little bit of flips in there. But like something that stands out is Mega Maga, and I think Danny Manchichi Ramirez is a big part of that, and because he's Mexican.
Did you see that picture of Danny Manchichi? I mean, there was all these protesters. You got the Antifa, you got the MAGA. There was tear gas being thrown, and people were coughing and getting beat down. And then this Danny's smiling with that.
Oh, I saw that.
That was disgusting.
The best wrestler right now is Danhausen.
Danhausen. Okay, there we go. That's pretty good. Danhausen.
How does he talk? Very evil?
Very nice, very evil.
I got a couple more questions, and we can wrap it up. One more question. What is the flaw of Mr. Kris Kloss? What is the flaw of Mr. Kris?
Flaw
of Mr. Kris
Kloss? Oh, man. Sometimes I guess I could really kind of get in my own head.
Yeah.
And I could doubt myself.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad I have family and friends that maybe during those times I got certain people I could talk to, and I hope I give the same exact back if they're feeling down.
Right.
Is to be like, hey, you know what? no, you're better than that. You're good. You're good at what you do. This and that and the other.
Right.
And so, I think I have what a lot of people call an inner critic.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes I criticize myself, or what Joe Rogan calls the inner bitch. You got
The inner bitch,
You got to
yeah.
conquer your inner bitch, and
You do?
so many times that gets the better of me, and I really kind of go into certain times believing that, oh man, that these guys are better, or whatever, and then if I do a good job, or if I have a good support system around me. Without feeding my ego, if just coming from a place of consciousness, is like, no, I got to believe in myself. So a lot of times, sometimes I just maybe can believe in myself a little stronger, you know.
Sometimes I touch my wiener and I feel guilty.
On that note, hey, didn't we start off with that and we're ending with that? What a way to bookend this.
Thank you, T-shirt. What's the flaw of Mr. T-shirt?
Do you touch it with your right or left hand?
Right.
Let's
Why do I want to know this?
Let's go around.
What about the shower head?
Let's go around. Let's go around the world with this. What's the flaw of Mr. T-shirts over here that you see, that you know, that nobody, you don't tell nobody, but you know it yourself?
I think
Personally.
he knows some of them. I don't think it's a flaw. I have insomnia.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not something that's a flaw, though. I don't
Right.
think.
It's out of your control.
I think he'd agree with this.
All matters what you think.
I think a lot of times I think it all goes together, so I'm just going to say it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a little bit different, but a lot of times I overanalyze things at the same time. I'll jump to conclusions, and then I'll create like unwarranted anxiety.
Yeah.
And I think I could be too much of an adrenaline junkie, which isn't good for someone with an anger issue.
And also, could I just say, if one little thing goes wrong at a restaurant, he'll scream and shout at the manager.
Wow.
No, I camp at Starbucks every day.
Could you say that's the beauty also of Mr. T-shirts, that you're adrenaline junkie?
Oh.
But then you also critique yourself and can see that this might be harmful for you.
Yeah, I
Because
think,
you are different than everybody else, and you
There's only one T-shirts, man.
and this person, a regular person, would not achieve 1 million followers on YouTube.
Oh, true, man.
It takes a special person to achieve 1 million followers, and you don't
used to.
But then at the same time, you're not the general YouTuber that does the general fancy stuff. You know,
I don't do all that cinematic garbage. My shit's real.
Can I say one thing, a positive?
Yeah.
Is that throughout the years, like you said, Puto Rasu, MPW, and all these other shows I've done periodically in between. And we didn't talk about Wrestling Society X. Maybe next time, the MTV show I did.
Yeah.
Even Creepy AF is real, which is going to be celebrating its 6-year anniversary
On Amazon Prime.
He was at the first taping of WSX. But anyway, one thing about this guy is like, I could go around, other wrestlers could go around. We go to shows like, oh, hey, what's up, Kloss? Hey, what's up, this guy, that guy? And then maybe some fans are recognized. I shit you not. It's like if this guy walks in and they know, oh, it's T-shirt.
Yeah.
So I do have noticed throughout the years he
has a following. Yes,
dude.
he does have a following.
And like we could have been. Remember, we were doing shows in Lancaster.
Yeah.
And we did global extreme wrestling with Danny Givenchy Cheese, Dad's nightclub. But anyway,
spiders in the nachos.
there you go. So
Wow.
there you go. So we had meetings at Northridge at Chi-Chi's, right near where he lives now. But anyway, so
Chi-Chi's Pizza.
yeah. So
My
we're
dad
all
used to
sitting there.
work
We got
there.
Dynamite D. We got all these, Danny, myself.
My uncle used to work at Chi-Chi's Pizza in
Okay.
Panorama City.
All right. So we're sitting there. Jake Lawless, XPW alumni, a Hall of Famer.
Right.
He walks in, he sees all of us. Oh, hey, how's it going, guys? And then he sees, oh, God, this guy. And he goes, holy shit, you remember me? And then Jake goes, how could I forget you?
Oh, my God.
Anyway, but this is the reaction this fucking guy
my
gets,
gosh,
dude.
wow.
So I don't get it, but I see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then for Mr. Jungle Bat, I want to hear a flaw of Mr. Jungle Bat.
Being honest about ourselves right now.
Self-analyze yourself. You know what your flaws. You got these demons inside. You got these. Your conscience is telling you, "Oh, you fucked up again. Oh, you never fixed this problem with your pressure. What's the pressure?
When you fuck up, mess up, you got somebody, criticizing you and just getting on you. You get stressed out. You lose your mind a little bit. Some people turn to alcohol, but me...
No, this is about you.
You turned a dick? Joking.
No, that's one of my flaws is dealing with stress.
With the stress.
Man.
Pressure, personal life, personal life?
Definitely.
All around?
Personal life.
Personal life. Family?
Nope. Family's doing great.
All right. Okay. All right.
Family's blessed. And I'm talking about you guys. So, yeah.
That's another... Can I say one other thing?
Yes, sir.
Like, my mom's older, but, like...
Oh, sorry.
Even when I went into basic training...
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the relationship we have. Maybe we have too close of a relationship. I don't know. Maybe it's, being a single mom.
Right.
But even, years ago... And, I've been in a group home. I've been in this and that.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
My mom had me when she was a little bit older than most people. His parents still, she had me in her 30s.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
boredom.
And then I was in a group home. I was in a group home,
I'm kidding.
I did this and that. I lived in I maybe haven't seen my mom as much as some,
Normal.
Yeah, normal people see their moms.
Right.
Over the course of my lifetime. It's like I've always had this fear, even when I was younger, about her like dying.
Amen.
Oh, well, who doesn't about their own mother,
mom,
man?
Yeah.
Jeez,
What's the history with your dad?
He was a deadbeat dad. He has a court order for state of California. Technically, if he comes to California, he'll be arrested.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
I haven't seen him or heard from him in about 30 years.
What's your nationalities?
Dutch, Viking, Russian, and Czech. And for my dad's side, I'm not sure. I would probably have to do one of those genealogical things or whatever they are.
And by the way,
he was born in... I've heard different things. I saw that he was born in Suriname, which is South America. Mm-hmm. But I've also heard that he was born in an Indonesian prison camp, which would go with my Holland, my
Holy shit.
Holland heritage.
Holland shit.
Holland, yes.
Yeah.
So
we actually have a... well, I don't want to say my last name, but we have like a I looked it up. We have like a coat of armor, like a family crest, and it has like the Knight Templars on it. So I don't know what that is about. The Knight Templar symbols. Yeah. So I don't. I've showed it to him. I don't know what that means, but
religious heritage. He's like, what are you? Half Christian, half Jewish, right?
Episcopal.
Are you a believer in a higher power?
Yeah.
Can I say like when if you're half and half?
Yes, sir.
If you're a Jew from your mother's side, you're considered a Jew.
Right.
If your mom's a Christian and your dad's Jewish, you're not considered a Jew.
Not a Jew, yeah.
His mom's a Jew.
So you're Jewish.
In Southern California, we got to understand the layout. The greater Los Angeles area, you got Orange County, more conservative, right?
Right.
He was dating a girl who lived in Orange County. The girl was a Nazi. He's a Jew.
Oh my gosh! You're a Nazi.
A Jew. The first ever.
You're a Jew dating a Nazi.
The first ever Jew to date a Nazi girl. A neo-Nazi.
Give me a high five for that one. That's you live the song of Body Count Ice-T said my girlfriend's in the KKK.
Oh, remember American History X?
Yeah.
Remember Edward Norton, the girl that he was going out, the black-haired chick with the Nazi chick?
Yeah.
This is the guy's girlfriend. The guy's a Jew. It's like if she found out the girl in the movie found out Ed Norton's a Jew. Just a Nazi. This is this guy. This is one of the many isms and stories of the great T-shirts.
Imagine if she was related to Hitler. You say, Hitler, I fucked your granddaughter.
Oh, my cute though, right?
Oh! Again!
Hey, love is love.
Whoa!
Hey, I'm not hating.
I didn't know.
Maybe this is the guy that's gonna finally bring the Jews and the Nazis together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found out she was crazy, but then she turned her life around.
Wow.
So she's no longer neo?
She's MP in the army.
Oh, so she dropped the old swastika, huh?
she's in the reserves, I think, but she was, I don't know how she got in, but she was military police in the army.
What is her favorite sex position?
Dominatrix
like?
for sure.
What is she like?
Well, you know what she did? She would be the dominant one, and she would put the strap on and make him put the star on, and she'd have the armband on. She would do all this.
She
remember in the 70s those pornographic comics with the Nazi girls?
Yeah,
that's what he was.
Oh my God.
She was more conservative than most of.
Oh, gee, you think?
Girlfriends. I mean, I've done some.
She like that missionary position.
She like doggy style.
Doggy style. That's great for.
The best was I had a girlfriend who liked anal, and when you would like do your thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like she'd turn her head. She wore a button-up men's shirt, which was really sexy. She had big tits, and like she would turn around and like.
Hello. Sorry.
Right.
When you reach that point, you'd be like, she'd turn around and be kissing. So that was pretty.
Oh
hot.
my gosh.
and then he threw all religion out the window.
She had a nice butt. The Nazi girl. She had a nice butt.
No, this was another girl.
No, I know, but the Nazi girl had a nice butt.
She was. You met her, right?
You know,
she was kind of skinny. So
I talked to her on the phone once, but he was at the museum.
She said,
He was at the Museum of Tolerance, right, in West LA. And you go through there. It's. I'm not making a joke. This is a very serious place, but he was there, and you know what? I don't care what this is. Never forget. Never let this happen again. And then she turned around, the tits like, oh, never mind. And she.
Did she know you were Jewish?
That's why she made him wear the star. She
should fuck him.
Yeah, she liked it, dude. She had to be the dominant one.
Like what?
Unbelievable, this guy.
It's a fairy tale.
It's not that far from a fairy tale, but anyway,
we're gonna end with. It's
a great story.
We're gonna end with our
only one.
We're gonna end with our classic question that we ask every guest on the show. Mount Rushmore, top favorite pro wrestlers. We're gonna go in this order here. Tonight you could overlap.
Okay.
If you want to overlap, that's what overlapping means. He's got a favorite wrestler like Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Right.
He could say Jimmy Superfly Snuka if he wants.
Yeah.
Usually we can't overlap, but tonight we can
because it's whatever you feel.
Whatever you feel.
Okay.
Top 4, we're gonna go all the way around.
We don't have the Black Bat here to disagree with you.
We need Mr. Black Bat.
Well, yeah.
Number one? Danhausen.
No. You're Mount Rushmore of all time.
Danhausen.
Danhausen from XPW current.
No, he's AEW.
AEW, okay.
Danhausen.
Oh, Danhausen, the vampire guy. You know where he got that from? He stole that from the Red Bat.
Oh! The originator right here, never the duplicator.
Never duplicator. Go for it.
Danhausen. Wow.
What are you calling a cat over here?
Trying to think.
Just whatever.
It might not be the best of all time. But
there's no best or worst.
It's
Danhausen.
for you.
Piper.
Piper, that's a great one, yeah.
Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog's a great one. He had his history.
And I'd have to say Nick Gage.
Nick Gage. Wow, that's
we're like the Mount Rushmore. You had one black guy in there. 4 of us.
He's the current top guy right now, Nick Gage. And he's a deathmatch.
So if I'm going to go all-time Mount Rushmore professional wrestling, I know there's somebody on the show that's very similar to my Mount Rushmore, but look.
Can we hold it 1 sec?
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourself. I got it. Sorry, guys. I got to pee real bad. Sorry.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Red Bat making his way outside. The door is opening. Oh my gosh, the Red Bat having some difficulties. Now the door is closing. Hang on, we be real quiet. There it is, the zipper. You heard it? That was the zipper right there. I can hear this. Oh, you can hear him mumbling now. So the Red Bat is one of those individuals that likes to talk to himself during urination. Obviously, I would think for better urination flow.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would think for better urination flow. Okay, before the Red Bat comes back out here, very interesting T-shirts. Your Mount Rushmore, very interesting. I will have to say, folks, that Mount Rushmore is something that we compare to because what is the real Mount Rushmore? Mount Rushmore is in where? South Dakota, right?
It's in the Black Hills of South
Dakota. So who's on the real Mount Rushmore? George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, who else?
Thomas Jefferson?
Yep, and who else? He was the one that really spearheaded the national parks in the U.S.
Theodore Roosevelt.
Okay, so who's number one on Mount Rushmore? Who's on the $1 bill in the U.S.?
Probably George Washington, because
Yes.
he was a 33rd degree Mason.
Whatever. Okay, so whatever politics, personal aside, someone has to be the first guy, right? George Washington was the first president considered the father of the country because someone had to be number one, right? Mm-hmm. So he's on the $1 bill. He kind of started it all in a way. Well, in my mind, the first ever golden era of professional wrestling, there was another George that started it that I have to put on Mount
George the
Rushmore.
Animal Steel.
And that was Gorgeous George. And you know who credits Gorgeous George for a lot of his success in his genre?
Bruno Sammartino.
Look it up.
Ric Flair?
Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
Muhammad Ali got his talking from Gorgeous George,
Wow.
and he had said that in numerous interviews. And you can see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
What about Joe Johnson?
So Gorgeous George would have to be look, if the America has a Mount Rushmore and George Washington has to be on our Mount Rushmore, personally I think Gorgeous George has to be on it. He was the forefather of the first golden era of professional wrestling, the 1950s, the advent of television in America.
Actually, Abraham Lincoln was the first professional wrestler.
So anyway, going from there, I'm going to fast forward to the before we get to the second golden era, there was a big lull in the 70s, 60s, and the 70s. Mm-hmm. So I'm going era by era, and it's a tie. It's either Lou Thez or Bruno Sammartino, but I'll probably pick Bruno because he was huge, especially in New York, the east of Pennsylvania.
He's a minority,
and exactly, and he was one of those guys that drew people in, and he was a bigger than life guy. And he kind of carried that era between the 50s and 80s, the two golden eras, right?
Right.
So I got to give it to him.
Was he pre-Bob Backlund? Yes.
Oh, yeah. He was pre-Bob Backlund. Because Bob Backlund came right before Hogan.
Right.
Speaking of Hulk Hogan, I got to put him on there, too.
Hulk Hogan, yes.
I have to.
You have to.
You have to, dude. He was, I mean, if you really look at, like, kids that watch wrestling now, like when we were kids in the 80s, we didn't really have this like boom of wrestling to look back on the 10 years, 20 years prior. Mm-hmm. These kids do now. And like kids that like Roman Reigns or John Cena, like they look back at some of this 80s stuff and like, okay, I know Roman Reigns is big, but then you watch like, oh my gosh, look at the crowd react to Hulk Hogan. Look at all these mainstream shows he's on. He was that big, you know, and he kind of was, dude. Especially you look back now at some of these shows.
The crowd was nuts.
Yeah, nuts, dude. He was like Michael Jackson coming out there, dude. And he was that big.
Roman Reigns is big now in WWE, but the common person does not know who Roman Reigns is.
That's right.
Hulk Hogan was big in WWF,
name.
and he was big in the household.
Yeah, he. I remember as a kid.
Part of America.
Exactly. I remember as a kid, you could talk to anybody, any family. They would know the name Hulk Hogan. Again, just like they knew the name Michael Jackson or Johnny Carson. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Really.
Right.
And so anyway, I got to put Hogan up there. And I think after that, it's like I said, Lou Thez and Sammartino was close. The last one, the third golden era, which was really the Attitude Era, NWO times, whatever. It's between The Rock and Austin.
Rock and Austin.
And I probably since Austin kind of started the whole thing, it's close, but I'll put Austin up there. It could go either way.
Gorgeous George, Sammartino, Hogan, and Austin. That's a really good Mount Rushmore right there.
If you're going to compare it to America's presidential Mount Rushmore, to me, that's the closest I can get it to.
Yeah. Mine's more entertaining.
Right.
And it's personal to each person. Right?
Can you imagine his Mount Rushmore for the presidents? It'd be like the guy that got impeached. It'd be the guy that got assassinated. Well, Abraham Lincoln did get assassinated.
John, go back with an authentic Sting autograph signing right here.
My Mount Rushmore is based...
You want to get out on this?
I'm good.
It's based off of who and where I'm from.
Yes, sir.
In the jungle...
Kamala.
There are...
From a protester?
There are beasts...
Beasts.
That lose their tempers, that lose their minds. So, my Mount Rushmore is gotta be 4 wrestlers that lost their temper but needed to lose their tempers. That got crazy, that threw people around in the ring and weren't afraid of shit.
We're only on number 1.
Number 1, Ken Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock. Wow.
Every time I saw him, when I was a kid growing up watching him in the Attitude Era, he would always do this.
Shoot wise,
Can you do that again?
and honestly, shoot wise, he'd probably beat everybody up at the time.
Yeah.
My second Mount
Daniel
Rushmore,
Pewter beat him up.
We're on number 2.
even though I grew up a WWF fan, my second Mount Rushmore happens to be a WWE wrestler who always lost his mind, who always screamed, who never had freaking hair. Goldberg.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Goldberg was big in the 90s.
By the way, coming up pretty soon, Motzva Mania.
Y'all seem ready to rumble, right? Come on.
Goldberg was
I handed him, by the way,
right
when they filmed Ready to Rumble at the Grand Olympic, we were flying for an XPW, and all the fans were waiting outside, the extras for the movie, so Goldberg came out to like shake hands and get the people, and we were passing flyers out, and I go up to Goldberg, I say, here's a flyer, and Goldberg is there like, hey, check our show out, here's a flyer, and Goldberg's like, whoa, you know who I am, right? I'm like, oh, dude, good wrestling, XPW, Receipt Country Club, check it out. And and Jake
I was there, I think.
Were you? Oh, me, you, Dynamite D, and Jake Lawless.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you were there.
We had front row seats.
Another classic story right there.
Now, number 3 was a man who lost his mind, but people thought he was crazy. People couldn't control him. Not even police officers handcuffing him with chains did not stop
the Butcher.
him.
Austin?
My third Mount Rushmore guy, Kane.
Oh
yeah,
wow,
Kane.
Kane is pretty good.
We all know in 2003
What
when
about
Eric Bischoff screwed him and he lost that world title match to Triple H and he took his mask off. Around that time, he lost his mind and he had to be shackled, okay? One of those shows at the Staples Center in 2003, I was there.
Oh!
The night he tombstone Linda McMahon, I was there.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, July 21st, 2003, Staples Center.
Do you know who the original
What
Kane
time was it?
On a Monday, all of my classmates were doing homework. On Monday, I went to fucking Staples Center for Raw, and they all got mad at me. I was like, ha ha!
What time was it?
At 5 o'clock. That's why you do your homework at school.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Wow.
Okay, wait, cut him off.
My
Last call.
Shut the fuck up.
I was actually talking to Moonlight Leo a lot about this guy because
You're like this with that guy, huh?
him and I both agreed that this guy is strong, this guy is crazy, this guy left WWE for a while, but we are so happy he is back.
Bobby Lashley.
My number 4th guy on the Mount Rushmore, Bobby Lashley.
Wow. And he's an MMA fighter.
More psychic.
He's a true tough guy.
You got 2 true tough guys on
Two
there.
true tough guys.
And Moonlight Leo actually has something in common with Bobby Lashley. Moonlight Leo's finisher just happens to be the spear.
Whoa. That is a great.
Can you do that again?
Rushmore right there.
Say the spear again.
Do the spear.
The spear.
One more time.
The spear.
Oh,
The host of the most.
the whole
Red Bat.
All right, I have to be biased on this one. My number 1 in Mount Rushmore would be the WCW icon.
Man,
Sting.
Kloss.
Yes.
Man, this is Sting.
He is my all-time idol right there. Number 2, I would have to share with Mr. Kris Kloss. Number 1 in wrestling all time, forever, will be Hulk Hogan. He changed the 80s.
He changed the 90s.
And he changed the
early
90s. No, late 90s too, because he became the NWO. That ultimate heel
Excuse me.
was Hulk Hogan. Number 3, Number 3, changed it for the little guys, including
Little
myself.
Rey
guy.
Mysterio.
No, I do like Rey Mysterio, but no, it's Tiger Mask because he was in
Whoa.
the 70s with Dynamite Kid, and they would have these high flying moves matches while everybody else was doing all the same typical body slam suplex match. While these guys were doing new things that all of the guys did, all the wrestlers do now. And if you look at those matches, you're like, oh, all that shit was easy, but back then it was hard, and they were the pioneers of that. And then number 4. Let me change. Number 4 will be right here, I got the sweater, Mr. Ric Flair, the Hulk Hogan of WCW, the antagonist of Hulk Hogan, right?
I got a quick story about this guy and Ric Flair.
Yes.
Oh, and then tell him the story about me and Sting and Abyss.
Okay, we went to Raw. We were first row.
Yeah.
And it's on television. Ric Flair and Kurt Angle got Kurt Angle on the floor, whips him to the security railing, right in front of us.
Right.
And you could see us right there on TV. It's about 2005.
Yeah.
And then
Honda Center?
Honda
wow.
Airhead Pond.
I was there.
Okay.
I was there.
Okay, and then so anyway, Ric Flair gets thrown into the guard railing. Security we were standing up. Security says sit down, and I kind of sit down. And T-shirts kind of went to sit down, and he went like this. And he went like that to Ric Flair. Ric Flair off television for 4 months. Once he touched him.
Tell him about the story in Irvine with Sting and Abyss.
Well, I remember you said.
No, when I went down to the ring.
What'd you do? I can't remember now.
What the audience did.
You tell it then. I can't remember.
When they were... How they all...
Oh, they were saying T-shirts.
What the?
Yeah.
I stole the heat or the pop from Sting and
There was
Abyss.
somebody in the crowd that knew him from XPW.
Yeah.
And oh my God, like I said, dude, T-shirts. There's like a few people in there. T-shirts.
Oh my God.
And then there was like other people started chanting. Like
They just jumped
maybe
in.
some of them didn't know, but he got them. Like,
All right, let's jump in. Let's figure out what it
and
is.
then our friend Raven goes, "I can't fucking believe this."
that would have been George today saying.
Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
I think George was there with us.
Did Sting or Abyss react to that?
We went backstage after the show.
Yeah, we went backstage, and would you ask Abyss? Or did you say hi to him?
I talked to him. I said, hi, Monster Abyss.
Yeah, he said, hello, Monster Abyss.
Did they react to the T-shirts chant?
So it kind of just confusion.
Oh, okay. All right.
When he met The Undertaker, we kind of like, we were at the WrestleMania 21 post party, and we said, we were all there, and nice guy Mark Calloway and Callis, and he goes up, and we're like, T-shirts, tell him about your paranormal stuff. He goes, yeah, I know it's all a gimmick what you do, but there's like a lot of stuff that you do that's I'm very familiar with because I'm a paranormal investigator. And Undertaker couldn't have been nicer. He's like, oh hey, that's cool. And then there was a long pause. And Taker goes, yeah, that's cool. And T-shirts goes, yeah. And then we're all standing there, no one's saying a word. T-shirts. Here's Undertaker. Yeah, can I get your cell phone number?
I don't remember that.
And then nice as can be, he's like, oh hey, I just hope don't take this person. I just I can't get my number out just to
wow,
everybody.
what a nice guy.
Yeah, it's super nice. And then Tina goes, yeah, that's cool.
I honestly don't remember that.
Yeah, dude.
Alrighty.
How do you not remember that?
I want to thank you guys once again. This is probably one of my funnest podcasts that we had. We had some great ones. This one's definitely a great one. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. T-Shirts. Hopefully, Mr. Grand Bat can come back next show.
Yeah,
Black Bat
and Moonlight Leo.
And the Black Bat.
And the Black Bat. Of course, we missed them today.
And C19.
Oh yeah, where's C19 been with the big nose?
Oh, we missed Mr. C19. We missed the Moonlight Leo. I want to thank everybody. If you stayed this long, thank you very much for staying with us. Have a good night.
Peace out.
Batos Locos! YouTube.com/The Red Bat. Like, share, comment, and subscribe!
Hit that bell for notifications.